Welcome to Washington. It's a day the federal government launches a $1 trillion entitlement spending program called Obamacare. And they're doing it in the middle of a new budget crisis and the shutdown of the federal government. Only in our nation's capital would such an unworkable contradiction become a reality. I'm sure you've heard about the shutdown all day long. And while it's important and it's going to be short-lived, an agreement will be reached. But our main focus tonight, and the one that will have the biggest impact on your wallet, is Obamacare. Our goal, to help you navigate this law and how it'll affect you and your loved ones. There are lots of questions, even as Obamacare goes full steam ahead, and our government assures us, hey, everything's going to be okay. But who's going to get federal subsidies for coverage, and how much money will they get? Why don't we know what the deductibles are? The ultimate question, of course, is will this whole thing work? Or will it break the bank for generations to come and turn out to be the slow-motion train wreck we've all been warned about? With more on this, Doug Holtz-Eakin, president of the American Action Forum and a former CBO director, and Republican Senator John Barrasso from Wyoming. Welcome to you both.
Thanks, Jerry.
I got to start with the glitches we had today. We have a map we want to show folks of the states that have glitches. There's virtually, well, there's almost no states that are on this map that didn't have troubles today. Doug, what happened?
They weren't ready, and it's hard to believe that after 2.5 years, they weren't ready for the traffic to the sites. They weren't ready to determine eligibility, and literally they weren't ready to turn on the switch and have it function properly. We saw the Washington Post reported 34 states having problems. I had interns trying across the United States, and we ran into trouble everywhere and just started writing down the places that said it doesn't work.
Right, and people were getting error messages. Some of the systems crashed, all kinds of problems. Senator, is this going to be the new face of Obamacare?
Well, and I don't think these are glitches. This is a systematic failure of the exchanges today that people are seeing. And my information to people all across the country is just buyer beware on so many components of this. You know, the president said it's going to be cheaper than your cell phone bill, which is an average of $71 a month. That's absolutely false. The president said it's going to be as easy as buying on Amazon.com. I bet there's not a single American today that had that experience. And he said if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. So many of these exchanges go to places that you're not able to keep your doctor.
Lots of problems, obviously, and we cataloged many of them, but I've got to say, 1 million people visiting the site today. That's pretty darn good. Doug, is this what's the future? Is there going to be 1 million visitors to this site every day?
I don't think so. I mean, that would be 30 million visitors every month. That's not 30 million people buying health insurance. No one dreams of enrolling that many. This was a lot of people curious. There was a lot of reporters showing up to see if it worked. There's a lot of interns. But it was to be expected. And I think the biggest criticism of the administration is how can you not plan for success? This is their signature program, and you can't build a website that handles the traffic.
We had one reporter try to sign up in 37 different states.
Right.
Could only make it work in 3. So think about those odds. People are having real trouble out there, and now the president's saying this is going to have a positive impact on the deficit. Listen to this.
Affordable Care Act is now open for business. It is settled. Choice, more competition, and it is here to stay. Cost for millions of Americans.
I'm not sure if you could catch all of that, but the president's saying, Senator Barrasso, that Obamacare is going to have a positive impact on the deficit. And my question is, how can that possibly be true?
It can't possibly be true. This is going to be bad for people, not just for their health care, but also for their jobs and their paychecks. We're seeing that people's hours have been cut back. Part-time workers have been cut back. Other people or businesses aren't hiring. They're keeping it below 50 employees so they don't have to provide insurance for those individuals. It's going to be much more costly than the president has any notion of when he says cheaper than a cell phone bill. I think that he's wrong on a lot and open to fraud.
He didn't just compare it to Amazon, though. Let me tell you, he compared it to Apple today. I don't know if you heard this comment, but here's the president comparing the rollout of Obamacare to the glitches faced by Apple.
Consider that just a couple of weeks ago, Apple rolled out a new mobile operating system. And within days, they found a glitch, so they fixed it. I don't remember anybody suggesting Apple should stop selling iPhones or iPads, or threatening to shut down the company if they didn't. That's not how we do things in America.
So, comparing it to Apple.
Apple is the most valuable brand on the planet. They must be upset to be compared to Obamacare. I mean, please.
You know, you're not forced to sign up for Apple either. Right. I mean, that's a big difference as well. Is that a fair comparison?
No, it's a completely unfair comparison. And again, you have to do this. It's going to cost you, the taxpayer, a lot of money. It's going to hurt you, the consumer, in buying your health insurance. And it's going to hurt you, the worker, trying to find a job or get a raise.
Well, we've seen a lot of companies, 300 we have a list of, companies that are cutting back on the number of employees they have, cutting back on hours. One of my other big concerns, Senator, is the idea of subsidies and big concerns about how much money we're going to spend on the subsidies, and does this make us vulnerable to fraud out there?
Fraud as well as identity theft. And remember, Jerry, the president unilaterally decided he didn't want to apply the law. The law is written in a way to make sure that anybody applying for a subsidy, you have to actually confirm and verify your income to see if you qualify for a subsidy. The president said, no, forget about that. We're going to use the honor system. And the way this is set up, by underestimating or underreporting income by just a little bit, you can get huge subsidies, which is not the way that this is set up to do. This is fraught with fraud, and even people who are supporting the law say that there's significant potential for fraud and abuse.
Doug.
Which I think goes back to your reporter, who you think was successful in 3 states, may very well have been getting the wrong amount of money.
Right.
We don't know.
Well,
there's no way to tell, and that's a big Achilles heel to this program.
Aren't there criminals out there trying right now to break this system and trying to get money from the federal government?
And through the navigators, people who are after your own identity. I mean, these so-called navigators hired to help you sign up are individuals that don't have to go through criminal background checks. They don't even need the same criteria that census takers have to meet in terms of security. So real opportunity for identity thefts, because you're going to have to give people bank account numbers, credit card numbers, social security numbers, all these sorts of things to try to sign up.
And even before the exchanges launched, we saw this incident up in Minnesota where personal data was distributed in an unencrypted form. Who knows how many repetitions that we're going to see before this thing is running properly.
Well, we got a long way to go.
And just when you send information into the exchange, into the data hub, it's called, it goes to the IRS, to Social Security, Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, all numbers of different places. So individual people are going to have all of this information about you. People that you don't necessarily want to have this information.
Well, I know a lot of people aren't even signing up because they don't like sharing that data. But I've got to get the two of you, one at a time here, Senator, starting with you. Grade the effort today. 2.5 years to prepare $1 trillion in spending. How did they do?
They failed. This is not just a rocky road. It's not just a glitch. This is a systematic failure.
Doug.
2 on a scale of 10, which sounds good because we expected a 1.
Okay, so dialing back expectations is a completely important part of rolling out one of these programs. You know, I got to tell you, we were here when the Supreme Court was debating this. Doug, you and I talked at that time not too long ago. We come down here every time there's some big headline on Obamacare. And I have to tell you, the more I see, the less I like.
There's nothing here that should be a surprise to anyone, but there's nothing here that should make you feel good about it.
All right. Thanks to both of you for being here. Senator, Doug, we're keeping you. You're going to have to stay here, penalize you. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Senator.
for having me.